Today, we're going to break down the sheer financial velocity of modern retail by taking a hard look inside the engine of an absolute industry giant.
And this brings us to a really fascinating question. It's something you probably wondered while walking down those brightly lit aisles. How much money actually flows through a single Walmart store in just one 24-hour period? We're not talking about a passive warehouse here. We're looking at a living, breathing financial machine. So to really wrap our heads around the massive scale of this operation, we have to follow the money. We're going to track the cash, the products, and the people, hour by hour, to see exactly how this whole thing works.
Here is our timeline for today. We'll start at 12 a.m. for quiet and restock, hit 6 a.m. for the first shoppers, jump to 12 p.m. for the peak rush, check in at 4 p.m. on the supply chain, hit the 7 p.m. evening rush, and finally wrap things up at 10 p.m. as they count up the day. Let's dive right in.
All right, kicking things off at 12 a.m. The store never sleeps. So the front sliding doors might seem quiet right now, maybe opening just once in a while, but the back of the house, it is roaring to life. Night shift employees are urgently navigating the aisles, breaking down cardboard boxes and restocking shelves. And out in the loading bays, you've got these massive 18-wheelers backing in, throwing open their doors and just unloading thousands upon thousands of products. It's a seriously labor-intensive preparation phase.
Now, you and I look at those boxes and we just see cereal or electronics or maybe clothing. But from a purely financial perspective, that is all just one thing. Inventory. Inventory is essentially every single item sitting unsold on the shelves, and crucially, it's tying up the store's money. It's a massive point of tension. Think about it. Before this specific location can earn a single dollar of profit today, it's already spent millions and millions of dollars buying all these products from suppliers. That unsold merchandise is literally frozen cash, just waiting for you or me to come along and unlock it.
Fast forward a few hours and we hit 6 a.m., morning sales and peak hours. The sun is coming up, the lights are fully blazing, and the first wave of daily customers walk through those sliding doors. Who's shopping at 6 a.m.? Well, you've got your early commuters, parents grabbing last-minute stuff for school lunches, and shift workers. And if you look inside their carts, they are buying the absolute essentials. We're talking coffee, a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread. Basic breakfast stuff to kick off the day.
On an individual level, sure, these purchases look super small. A $5 coffee over here, a $3 loaf of bread over there. You might think it doesn't really move the needle much, but retail is a game of extreme volume. Hundreds of these tiny, seemingly insignificant purchases very quickly compound into thousands of dollars. The registers up front, whether it's a cashier or a self-checkout, are constantly moving now. They're initiating the steady, rhythmic flow of incoming cash that starts unlocking all that trapped inventory we just talked about.
Now, let's fast forward to noon. The vibe completely shifts. Suddenly, you've got whole families, office workers on their lunch break, and college students filling up the aisles. And those shopping carts, they transform from holding a simple cup of coffee to being totally overflowing with high-ticket stuff, like flat-screen TVs or a whole new seasonal wardrobe. At this hour, the revenue doesn't just grow, it absolutely accelerates. The velocity of the money coming into the store basically shifts into overdrive.
As we roll into the mid-afternoon, it's 4 p.m. The endless supply chain. Because customers have been furiously buying those high-ticket items and household goods for hours now, a physical problem starts popping up on the floor. The shelves are starting to look a little bare. But this is modern retail. The store isn't just waiting around for a manager to walk by with a clipboard to notice what's gone. Instead, a completely hidden, highly automated digital machine kicks into gear behind the scenes. Here is exactly how that hidden machine works, in a pretty brilliant three-step dance. Step 1, the shelves empty out as customers buy stuff. Step 2, the absolute second an item is scanned at the checkout register, the centralized inventory system instantly records that that exact item is now missing from this specific store. And Step 3, without a single human having to intervene, new stock is automatically scheduled to be loaded onto a truck at a regional distribution center to replace it. It's this perpetual non-stop cycle of retail logistics, and it's happening in real time while shoppers are literally still walking to their cars in the parking lot.
So the crucial point to understand here is that this entire system is just one giant continuous loop. The money flowing in from today's midday sales is immediately earmarked and utilized to help pay for tomorrow's inventory. It's a hungry machine that constantly feeds itself. The cash register rings today, so the delivery truck can arrive tonight, making absolutely sure that the shelf is full again tomorrow morning. This cycle literally never stops.
All right, the sun's starting to set when we hit 7 p.m. Revenue is not profit. This is the massive evening rush. People are stopping by right after getting off work. The parking lots outside are absolutely packed to capacity. Inside, those checkout lines are growing longer by the minute. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of individual transactions happening every single hour. The sheer volume of money changing hands is staggering. But we really need to pause here for a major reality check.
Because it is so incredibly easy to look at those massive checkout lines and just assume the store is basically printing pure wealth. But we have to contrast two very different concepts here: revenue versus profit. Revenue is just the total gross amount of money collected from all those sales we just talked about. But profit? Profit is only what's left over after every single expense of the day is paid. And let me tell you, running a massive physical retail location is remarkably expensive.
Just take a look at this list of expenses that immediately eat into the day's revenue. Before the store claims a single dime of profit, they've got to pay for employee wages, massive 24/7 electricity bills to keep the bright lights and those heavy refrigerators running, rent or property costs, delivery expenses for all those trucks we mentioned, security, taxes, equipment maintenance. These costs stack up so fast, and they act as this massive overhead weight on the entire operation. Finally, we reach the end of the traditional day. 10 p.m. Counting the day. That frantic energy of the evening rush finally dissipates. The doors quiet down, and the aisles clear out. But the work isn't over yet. In the back offices, store managers are sitting down at their computers for a deeply analytical process. They're reviewing the final numbers for the day, tallying up the sales, subtracting all those known daily expenses, and reconciling the inventory data that was sent over by the automated system.
And during this late-night math session, they have to account for a really frustrating reality of the retail business. It's something called shrinkage. Shrinkage is basically the loss of inventory due to damaged products. Maybe someone dropped a giant jar of pasta sauce in aisle 4, or it's from stolen goods. And this isn't just some tiny rounding error. It is a significant financial leak that managers absolutely must calculate and deduct from the day's successes before they can finally close the books and start preparing for the next day.
So, when all the math is finally done, where does a typical store actually stand? Well, depending entirely on its square footage and geographic location, a single Walmart store might have processed tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in gross sales by the time the clock strikes midnight. Just let that sink in for a second. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, moving through one single building, in just one single day.
But here is the major takeaway I want you to get from our explainer today. The real lesson here isn't just standing back and marveling at the insane amount of money collected at the registers. The true secret of this whole operation is how efficiently that money keeps moving. A retail store isn't a bank vault meant to hoard cash. It's a circulatory system. Every single dollar that comes in through those front doors is immediately deployed right back out the back doors. It's used to pay employees, trigger the supply chain to restock shelves, maintain that massive building, and perfectly set the stage for tomorrow morning.
It is a non-stop, 24-hour logistical ballet where cash and inventory are literally constantly transforming into one another. Which leaves us with a fun question for the next time you walk through those automatic doors. Are you just a shopper buying groceries, or are you actually the newest spark plug powering a multi-billion-dollar engine?